Welcome back. The Sergeant Floyd River Museum and Welcome Center is housed in what used to be an active commission boat that took inspections of the Missouri River.
KDIV's Clayton Anderson took in some history of the Missouri River in this edition of Hometown History.
The MV Sergeant Floyd was a boat that would do surveys for safety of travel along the Missouri River, looking for snags and sandbars that were unsafe. The vessel first launched in May of 1932 and was used by the Army Corps of Engineers. Now the three-deck boat is home to a museum and a welcome center.
They took about 6 years to remodel it. They did a very awesome job on it, and they made it so you can see the engines. The pilot house, like I said, is pretty original to the boat, so that's really a neat section of the boat to check out.
I'm in the pilot house now, as this boat was once used to do inspections of the safety of the Missouri River. It even housed the at the time President Harry Truman as he went along for one of the tours.
The river was very important. This was actually a diesel-run boat. It's 600 horsepower is what it was, so it didn't move too fast up and down the river, but it did its job and it served its purpose for about the 40 years that it was on the river.
When exploring the boat, you will find a lot of detailed notes about the history of the ship, history of the Missouri River, and early settlement, as well as many displays of the tragic history of steamboats and how the Missouri River could be dangerous for travel as many ships sank. The boat also acts as a visitor center, and the staff will help with all Sioux City related questions.
Sometimes we're the first people that move here, the first place that they come to, because they want to find out what they can do in Sioux City. So we're real big on promoting local businesses here and everything that Sioux City has to offer.
The museum does a lot of school programming and works with kids on history projects and will display those projects inside the boat. That'll do it for this episode of Hometown History. Make sure you join us next time to see where we head next. In Sioux City, Clayton Anderson, KTIV News.